September 25th. That was the day that there was no possible chance that I wasn't going to be in the NFR.
Here's Joe. He's going to be quicker than he was in the first round. He's out of there.
It's the first thing that I could say that I earned.
3 letters in the letter F, the letter N, F, and R. I don't think y'all realize what that is and the severity of what it is. Each night you can win $30,000, and at the end of the week, if you're in first, 100 more thousand on top of it.
These guys go all year long with the goal to make the top 15. The Richmond champion qualified for the National Finals this year by $217. So $217 was the difference in him making the NFR and the 16th guy not.
I think the average person looking at rodeo would go, hey, what do you mean this guy won 120,000? You know, we can let you do the math. I mean, a brand new truck, brand new trailer, diesel, how many miles do we drive a year?
Over 50.
Over 50,000 miles for saddles, feed, vet, just making sure they're healthy, calves, you name it. There is an expense for it in rodeo.
I mean, inflation's tough. You feel me? You know, get out there and vote.
We need to do I want to know the craziest gambling Vegas story you've ever heard.
But I'm going to tell it because this was the craziest thing I've ever heard. We're sitting there in the little lounge before the 7th round last year. He said, no, for real, it's been better than the rodeo. Because I'm up 55.
A big thing for you, Braden, is you loved watching Cody Old tapes when you were growing up.
Tears his ACL, cuts his rope. He's holding on, getting drug. He keeps held on. Give you goosebumps every time if you watch the video.
You said you wanted a record.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it. Listen.
6.5 seconds.
That is not only the fastest calf tied at the National Finals, that's the fastest calf tied in the history of rodeo.
I mean, shit.
Let's get it, Harrison.
Let's get it, Harrison. I should tell that story about
I run your shit. No, we're waiting to tell that story till we pull Hauser right here.
Let's squash the beef.
Yes. There's beef that needs to be squashed.
He's gonna take you out to the train station.
He already did, I feel like.
That was nothing.
That was a glimpse.
That's
I've never actually watched Yellowstone, but he sounds like a big old badass.
He's the man.
He's the man.
He's just as much in real life as he is on the show. I mean, spitting image.
That's probably why he plays it so good and so successful, because he's just
so.
himself.
I think that's just his natural personality, and that's why they casted him as it.
That's right.
We got my cousin Ty Harris, co-host on the podcast, but we got my other cousin, Ty's brother, Braden Harris, on the podcast. Thanks for being on the pod, brother.
I'm excited to be here. I've been looking forward to it. I was just hoping I got my opportunity.
Oh, you're first up, first on deck. I feel like you already made a little Instagram post, but I feel like there's a little announcement you got to make, buddy. This is on Teton Ridge. This ain't no small deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like you said, I made the Instagram post, but first NFR this year. Excited. I got to be there and help watch Ty last year. So that definitely had me licking my chops at the opportunity to get a chance to, redeem myself and try to be here this year. And I'm excited to be there.
Coming in at the, 11th, 12th position? 13th position, 100 and what do we come? $16,000 won.
Yep.
And some change.
Mm-hmm.
Hard year.
Hard fought year. I mean, roped good all year, but it was never just okay. It's set. Never just that one big hit through the summer. Roped good, had to fight all the way to the end of grind. It was what September 25th, the day 25th or 26th was when mathematically you clinched your first NFR. So just tell us about what did that feel like knowing that you were in? What went through your mind and your body?
Breath of fresh air, my lord.
I was in Pasadena, Texas whenever I knew, and it was like, I don't know who all I've told, but the one thing I describe about it is that it's the first thing that I could say that I earned that wasn't given to me. My family's always been supportive. They've helped me they helped me go to college. And it's not to say that they didn't play, a 50% role in or 60% role in me accomplishing making the NFR, that being Ty, that being my dad, that being my mom, that being my wife. It's not that those people didn't play an extremely, pivotal role, but had I not put the work in, had I not, done the things that it takes to win, then it wouldn't have mattered. So it was special just to do something that you earned. You know what I mean?
It does not matter what you have or how much talent you have. No one can nod their head for you and make those pressure runs and those put in the work first off, because I don't care how talented you are, you have to work day in and day out with a purpose, disciplined purpose, practice. But those pressure runs that you made right there, no one can do it for you. No matter how bad I'm sitting back there behind the corner and I'm tight as a freaking drum and so nervous for you, I can't rope. It's all on you. It's you, your horse, and the calf, and you executing right there. And one little bobble can be a snowball effect to you dropping out of the top 15.
Exactly.
Hermiston, Oregon comes to mind. Let's just get deep into it. I'm getting chills as we speak straight up right now.
That gives you goosebumps for sure.
Hermiston, Oregon. Tell us about it.
So I think the cool part about Hermiston was I showed up to Hermiston, and it was probably the first time that I had missed 2 calves in a row heading into Hermiston. I'd missed 2 calves in a row. And This year, right? Like I've missed 2 calves in a row a bunch of times before, but the first time, I guess, in the summer that I had missed 2 in a row. So I was going in on a cold streak, if you will. And I show up to that rodeo. Obviously we get there and tying everything, tie the calves, and I think we felt like we had a good opportunity that day with our set of calves. We liked the horse I was riding. We just felt like everything felt pretty good. And made a really good run on my first one on a strong calf. I was 9.8, but then like that's the fun part comes in to the fact that we talked about this calf. What was the
number
calf
25?
This calf number 25 all day. He was just so sweet. We watched him go in the first round. We were like, boy, we would that could change, that could change my week if we draw this calf, or that could change his week, whoever's week. If you draw this calf, you feel pretty good about it. And people don't realize, we know if it's a 2-head rodeo, we know after the first one, the same set of calves we're roping that night. And so if you've been talking about a calf, you've basically put a lot of pressure on yourself, whenever you start talking about these calves, and then you draw him. And so I knew going into that run, if I can make a good run, I thought I can win top 4 at a big rodeo, maybe get out of there with 4,000 or 5,000. But just kind of made just the right run I needed. Tied him in 7.8, and I felt like that was a really, really big run. I was right in a position where if I don't win right there and I don't win the next 2 weeks, I can fall behind. And if I win right there, it really boosted me to where there was never a run that was like, oh, I have to win this one run because I won that week. And so that was the kind of that after that run, it felt like, with talking to Ty, I was like, okay, it's getting real that I have a good opportunity to make the NFR.
Right.
That was there was something special about that for sure.
It's crazy, man. So like when we're talking about tying the calves, we tied those calves at 10 a.m. that morning, our set of particular calves that we're going to rope that day. So we run the first one, I think it was at 2 o'clock, whatever, 3 o'clock. But that night we didn't rope till 9 o'clock. So this is almost 12 hours later after we were talking about this calf 25 all day. When he sees he draws him, I'm automatically get nervous because I know that's the best calf. And if he just doesn't mess up, he's going to get a check. He just don't mess up and you're going to get a check. Really, that's the legitimate. He knows that. I know that. Everyone knows it. So I can only imagine what he felt right there. And to execute perfectly, hit the barrier perfect in that pressure situation, man, that's what you live for. That's what it's all about. So like I said, this gives me chills just talking about it, and it was 2 months ago, but it's a pretty cool feeling. And in that right there, I knew when he executed that, I knew he's good. He'll make it. I told my dad that night, I said, he's going to make the NFR. And I've been thinking it. I've been saying it all year because I knew he could do it. But that night I knew he'll make it.
But you didn't say that because it was mathematically he was in. You just said because you think you turned the corner.
No, that
day.
put him to 91,000, I believe.
Yeah.
But just mentally knowing
he made
the run. He knows he made the run. I know he made the run.
Yep.
His belief in himself is going to be different from there on, that he'll make it.
I want to know, number one, when was the moment? I guess it was Hermiston when you knew that there became a chance. Like, this is real.
So I knew. I guess I probably put that wrong. It wasn't that I knew I had a chance. It was like it became real that Like
It's possible.
it's very possible.
And my
it's
question is-
very realistic.
I want to
Like,
know, did that make you more nervous or more confident and ease you up?
So I think there's just kind of a range. I mean, you go 24 hours before the next rodeo. You're excited about how you're roping. That's the thing about it. It's hard to describe because when you're roping bad, you're going to get a lot more nervous, and it doesn't matter the situation. You're going to get more and more nervous just based off if you're roping bad. At any time, like that can snowball, and you don't want that. But when you're roping good, even when that pressure comes, it doesn't hurt as much because you just feel like, well, I've been doing it the last couple of weeks, and so it's definitely more and more pressure. The more real it becomes, you can feel like, oh, I'm close to punching my ticket. Like you can feel that, and everyone can feel it. So I would definitely say that the pressure's added, but the time that pressure really, really comes is whenever, going into that rodeo, I'd miss two, right? And you feel like you could easily just go and feel like, but I was glad at how aggressive I came out on the next runs, and I didn't really let the past runs affect me. And I think that's one of the biggest differences from this year into last year is, you're going to have bad runs and you just can't let it affect you, and it's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. So the PRCA season ends September 30th. That's when the cutoff is to make the NFR, the National Finals in December. Top 15 in each event make it. So we're calf ropers. Our goal when we start the year is to be in the top 15. October 1st, the next year starts.
Yep.
So we have a slight, time to where we qualified for the NFR right here, but then we're cracking back out. We're headed to the circuit finals, going to be this week. So, I mean, like, tell me about where you're at in Pasadena and where that takes you for the future and leads you into next year.
Yeah. So, like we talked about earlier, so I was at Pasadena on September 25th. That was the day that there was no possible chance that I wasn't going to be in the NFR. So obviously I'm calling Ty. That was the first person I talked with. We're just trying to make sure. And then, because we had put in, it's him that's put in the most to getting me to where I'm at. And there's the hard work. He knows that I've really tried to, do my best. And so it was special getting to talk to him. And then obviously I'm calling my wife, I'm calling dad, I'm calling mom. And, it's just a special feeling knowing that, you got something done that is really hard. I mean, there's people that's their dream their whole life and they never get it done. And so, there's nothing more special than that. And then coming off that, it was, I took a little break, about 10-day break, and just enjoyed it. Just enjoyed the, because right after that, like you said, we're back to rodeo. And so I want to spend a little bit of time just enjoying that fact, just because the hard work you put in, and want to be fresh coming into next season. So we're back to work now. It's, it's like on to the next one, but nothing more special than, that day and just the week that followed.
That's one thing too that I want to say for the younger listeners and younger rodeo contestants is enjoy it every step along the way. Don't get complacent. Don't quit working, but enjoy it. Like he said, he took his 10 days and he just really felt it and enjoyed his first NFR because that's so huge. But I don't care if it's something as, like winning your first buckle or winning a junior high state title or winning your first rodeo or whatever it is, tying your first calf under 15, making your first clean team rope and run, whatever it is. Enjoy it because it's a long old road. It's a long process and it's a lot of hard work. So there's just enjoy it and use that as motivation. Don't just use your losses, but use your little steps along the way. Set your goals, work to achieve them, and enjoy it all along the way.
But because we talked about it in one podcast, I think it was with Leighton Berry at the very end with Leighton Berry. You'll see this episode soon. You said when a lot of young rodeo athletes are worried about this person over here that's winning better than them, and do you feel like you've done that good your whole life, even when you were young? Because it's easier said than done just to like sit there and enjoy it, because you like epitome of success for an NFR or a rodeo cowboy is the NFR. And basically it's how hard is it to even do that, you know?
So I don't know about you, Braden, but I mean, when I was growing up, Weston Hughes beat me like a drum. I'm everywhere I went. He won first, and I won second. I cannot remember one time where I beat him. There wasn't. He beat me like a stepchild, and so that was what a lot of my practices. You know, a lot of our practices. That's true. I ain't lying. That's it. So a lot of our practices revolved around Weston does this work. So as long as you're using it as motivation to try to get better and to try to grow, I think it's all right to look at maybe somebody that you want to beat, use it as competition, but don't ever let it bring you down, because Haven Medja at that same time, who is a more what would I say, more successful,
More accomplished.
He's more
More
accomplished.
accomplished.
He's a more accomplished roper at this point in our lives. We're all about the same age. He's more accomplished than us
Didn't even know
two.
who he was when you were
And
14.
he was, when we were that age, Weston's winning everything. He's a child prodigy. You know, I'm behind him a good ways, like I said. And Haven was just out there in the eastern Montana, you know, roping, you know, working cows and running the sale barn. And next thing you know, 10 years later, or I'd say, you know, 7 to 10 years later, he's a world champion, two-time average champion, holds both records, the NFR arena record and the NFR average record, and he's the man to beat. You know, I mean, he's so. Don't ever let it get you down. Keep working. I promise you, Haven Medja was watching Instagram videos of me and Weston and was working. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it discourage you, but use it as motivation is what I have to say.
Interesting. Ty Harris and Braden Harris, two brothers at the NFR. It's gonna be pretty special thing. I don't even know who. I mean, obviously the Wright brothers have done it, but what other brothers do you know off the top of your head that have both made NFR?
So this year you got the Hayes.
Hey brothers,
You always got rides every year.
In the calf rope, when you used to have the Coopers, all three of them made it once or twice.
So there's a couple handfuls worth of brothers that have done it. I think in the calf roping, I might be wrong, but I know it's the Hyde brothers. It's the older Coopers. So Clay Tom Cooper and his brother Roy. So Clay Tom and Roy, Ricky and Ronnie Hyde, the three Cliff, Clint Tuff, which is Roy's sons, and I think we're the fourth brothers in the calf roping to make it in roping the same year. That I know of. I might be wrong there. I don't know.
Cool.
I know before the 80s. You know, I know 80s and on, but yeah. So
what's
pretty cool deal.
Is there any cool you didn't know this storyline about these brothers? Like we came down to Tuff and Clint last go around, and they had to beat each other. You know, like speaking of on the brothers topic,
so a cool brother story that I've heard. And this might be just a fairy tale, a wives' tale. You know, but I've heard that Ricky Hyde was out there rodeoing, and he needed help to get to these rodeos. And Ronnie goes out there to help him drive. And he just enters some, just driving and entering some, kind of like Brogan does, you know. And next thing you know, he's winning and he's winning. They both make the NFR. He was just going out there to help his brother drive that summer, and that might not have been even the same year, but I know that he was just helping his brother drive, had no intentions on professionally rodeoing, and was entering and was damn sure good enough, and they both made the national finals. That's might be a wives' tale, but that's what I've heard.
Well, we're going to have to get him on here and get him to tell us this show. I want to know, Braden, what is the name of it, the director?
So Shane Hanshy's the tie-down director. He made the NFR, obviously, so he had to have a fill-in, and he chose Braden to be his fill-in director and to rope the extras. So
Braden, you're down there in Las Vegas doing basically you're in the chute, behind the box, in the back with the guys. You're basically doing everything an NFR guy's doing, but not competing.
Right.
And I'm just picturing you just snubbing. You're like, I'm better than all these. You know, not like in a set, but just like, I want to go.
I was partially just thankful for the opportunity, because I was more so taking it as like, hopefully I'm here next year. And so if I can soak in just a little bit of this, getting to rope the extras, they put the barrier up. So I got to run 50 calves with the NFR barrier up, or 60 calves with the NFR barrier up. And so, yeah, there is it's like, dang, I wish I was here, but I wasn't 16th in the world, right? Like I didn't have the right to be like, oh, I should be here instead of this guy. It was like I need to learn.
Which you were 32 or something?
Yeah, down there like 32, something like that. But almost half the money that it took to actually be there. So yeah. I definitely didn't look at it as like I deserved to be there at all, because I didn't. But I definitely tried to, take it as a learning experience, and hopefully that it'll, help me perform well at the NFR. And, the way I looked at it was like, it can't hurt to, be back there and know the process. Just knowing what exact time you'll rope, how many more, how many before me do I want to be ready? I mean, every rodeo is different, and there's all these different things that go on. So the more experience you can have at it, the more comfortable you feel and the better you'll rope.
That's a good inside look right there. We want to talk about what's That's Freakin Rodeo about. That's an inside look that people don't think about. Sitting in the stands, you don't think about what's going on behind the tunnel. When you're watching the team roping up there, drinking your cold beer in the stands, and you're a calf roper that's getting ready to rope, what you're doing, what's your preparation, and so that's what I'm excited to bring to the people.
Yeah.
Going into a question that I just thought about, just like you said, you missed your rookie year was 2023, and you missed the NFR by $40,000. You got into the buildings, there was something to look forward to. You got into San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth, but I mean, what's the biggest difference in you going from missing the NFR by 40,000 to handily making it this year?
Well, I want to talk about two things on that. First, I knew even though I was far off, I knew that there's no rule to this, right? There's no rule to, it doesn't matter if you're 50th the year before, if you put in enough work, you can be top 10 the next year, top 15 the next year. And so I think that laid the groundwork. I didn't look at it like, oh, I gotta, this is a however long of plan. It was like, talking to guys that weren't even close one year and making it the next year. Marty Yates, Shane Hanchy, all these guys that you look at as untouchable now. They had tough starts too. But definitely didn't take that and go, oh, well, I'm going to be all right. It was like, no, these guys put in the work, and then it produced something else the next year. But the things that changed the most was definitely my practice, just preparation in general, right? My taking care of my ropes, taking care of my strings, taking care of my horses, taking care of, which I would take care of them, but it was like, do I have a routine of, I'm going to get my rope out this many before I rope. I'm going to, if I put, earplugs in my horse for the noise, will I just never having to worry about that stuff, because I do it routinely, and it's never a second thought. Your rope always feeling the same, can affect you. Your string always feeling the same, there's a consistency, and there's a confidence in consistency, right? And whenever you show up and you truly feel like you've worked just as hard as the hardest working guys or more, then that also gives you confidence. So I would just say preparation as a whole was the biggest difference.
That's the difference in a guy, which Braden made the changes, and that's nothing against anybody that doesn't make the NFR. The shit ain't easy.
Yeah,
it ain't easy.
It ain't.
But he made the changes. That's why I wanted to ask him that question, is he deciphered what he didn't like about last year, about his, whether it was his mental preparation or what gave him confidence or what didn't give him confidence, and he changed those things. And I can't wait to see what he does, because next year there's no telling where it'll be, because I just see him constantly growing, constantly preparing better. You hear the confidence is key. How many times do you hear that?
Daily, weekly.
Okay, what gives you confidence? Braden learned what gave him confidence, and he made sure he did it.
Yeah.
That's,
and to give, the fans an inside look, just imagine you're getting ready to rope, and you're sitting here and you're feeling your rope, and you're like, man, this doesn't feel as good as normal, right? You go back in the box, you take 2 swings, and in the back of your mind you think, man, this rope's not quite as good. Just that 1/10 of a second, and you miss. And then you go and you're like, what happened? You don't even realize there's something about being totally confident and being totally comfortable with everything that you do. The way you prepare, the way you ride your horse in the corner, those are all such important things that there's tenths of a second throughout your run. And if you're not totally sold out to that run, then you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I'm the most proud of you because when you think about who you were when you were 16 and 17, you were one of the top dogs. He was a freaking dude. I remember the story was at Fred Whitfield where you still just love watching you rope because you tied one in. What's that story about you tied one in?
Yeah, I was at a 13 under open and I did really good like the whole week, and he was cheering me on. That was a really cool experience.
He was watching him all week. Braden tied one in 7:01. He forgot that part. 7:01, 2 wraps at 13 years old, maybe just turned 14. Just turned 14 the month before.
And
he's got a November birthday, but
Fred Whitfield is one of the greatest ever to do it.
For sure, one of the goats.
Rushmore. And then
100% Mount Rushmore, one of the goats, amazing. Did it the right way too, was just a workaholic. But there's a badass picture of Fred just with the biggest smile on his face clapping when Braden throws his hands up in the you can see the clock 7:01. We'll find it. We got it.
And at 13 years old.
14, but yes.
14. Anyways, point what I was trying to make is you were at the top. I mean, there's photos with you with Shad, you with Kincaid, you with Riley. Riley was a year younger, 2 years younger maybe.
Yeah.
You're with the top guys and you give it all up. You go to ministry school and you pursue the Lord. And number one, I'm proud of you for doing what you think is right. And number two, when you think about coming back, literally we're in this arena right here. And I remember I made a little comeback video to a Shane and Shane song, this worship song. And and you put in the time then, but you lost, no person takes off 2 years and is just picked up right where you left off. And you put in the work. You've put in you didn't do it off of a whim, like, hey, I want to rope, I'm gonna practice for a few weeks, I'm not really doing it and give up. You've put in the work for 2.5 years to reach NFR, and you've come a long way, bro. And so I don't think people know your story, but to be a prodigy, one of the best to do it, and to give it all up and to come back and climb that mountain again, it's no small feat.
Yeah, no, it is hard, but I'm thankful that coming back, you never know if you would have learned the practice habits it takes to be one of the best. And so I hope that's still my goal. I still want to be one of the best, and I know that I still have a long way to go on that. So but when I was that age, I did not look at myself as one of the top top kids, whatever. I always watched everyone else and thought, man, I got a long way to go, and I think that's kind of that's just how I look at it. You know what I mean? And it's harder when you're whenever you're in high school or junior high, because we don't have a PRCA for kids. So when we're in the PRCA, I know I'm 130,000 behind Ty this year. That's about the gap, the margin that I am worse than him at roping, right? You don't know. It's hard. It's a hard concept whenever you're that age, right? And you just see guys that make good runs and you just think, okay, that guy's, you have an idea of who ropes really good, but to say who's the best and who's not is, it's pretty hard to say.
Definitely. I want y'all to we've talked about this on an old podcast, but the game board, going through y'all as kids playing on the game board of this is the 10th round or whatever.
Yeah. So
were y'all on the head and healing little dummy?
So we had a game board that you'd play the rodeo games and go to the different places. It had Reno, Cheyenne, Pendleton, Salinas, a bunch of Austin, Denver, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, San Angelo. So it had a lot of the marquee rodeos on it. And so we'd play that game some, and then we would go out and rope the little fast lane, the little team roping dummy, and we'd say, all right, we're here, we're at San Angelo, quick setup, 2 and a short. Actually, at that point, it was 3 and a short because they had a progressive third round. But anyways, and we would just picture ourselves being there, and then we'd get to the NFR 10, and we'd run 10 and whatever. We never missed the NFR on back there in the backyard. We made it every year, just saying. But
there was no 16.
We didn't finish 16th.
We were top 15 every time. You remember that little short black dummy that Granny had with the little play rope? I remember roping that sucker all the time at Christmas. Dude, that just popped in my mind. I forgot about that. Hopefully we have a picture of it. But no, it's crazy. I'm excited for y'all boys. It's crazy. It's cool because this year I didn't even tell you this. I get approved to shoot the NFR this year.
Oh, really? That's gonna be awesome.
So I'm gonna be in behind the shoots.
Though they're gonna let you do all that.
Yes,
That's gonna be good.
it's gonna be electric. Y'all gonna have to watch Ty and Joe Braden Harris, two brothers at the NFR. Hopefully, we tear the house down, and I mean, $400,000 between the two of y'all would be nice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, let's.
I'd take it.
I mean, we need a legitimate ice bath out there. We can use a sauna. Let's just run it up and do it.
It's going to be some improvements coming if we have that kind of week.
Yeah.
I'm thinking indoor workout.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll close this thing. We'll close this barn. You know? What do you need?
I won't be taking an ice bath in a water trough.
in a water trough right now. We've been mentioning the word, 3 letters in the letter F, the letter N, F, and R. I don't think y'all realize what that is and the severity of what it is. Just for context, there's 10 nights at the NFR. Each night you can win $30,000, and at the end of the week, if you're in first, 100 more thousand on top of it. There is no rodeo that pays that much. You cannot go anywhere and get paid this much money in this short amount of time. And there's a few guys that scraped in by the hair on their neck.
I mean, like we said, in September 30th, it starts October 1st for next year. These guys go all year long with the goal to make the top 15, and you could miss it by a margin so small that it was, the Richmond champion, I had it right here on my calculator. Richmond champion qualified for the National Finals this year by $217. So $217 was the difference in him making the NFR and the 16th guy not. Obviously, I'm sure Richmond wishes there was 16 spots so that guy didn't have to sit at home this December. But that's just what it is. They got 15 spots, and they're battling until the end. They might be best friends hauling in the same rig. That's the thing about rodeo, the camaraderie of it is. One year it might be me and Braden that are both on the bubble. Well, hopefully not. I mean, hopefully we're safe. But what if? There's a chance right here that me and him as brothers might be roping
first and second in the world.
Well, that exactly, first and second,
going for the gold buckle,
roping
baby.
for a gold buckle. I like the sound of that a lot better. But battling through it September, we'd probably be driving to the rodeos in the same truck and fighting each other off to get that last spot in the national finals. You know, and 16th is nothing. You know, from the sponsors to the amount of money you're going to rope for to just the fact that you knew it. It's just you got the memories, but that's it. You know, you spend all this money and all this time and all this energy, and just to make it, you're 16th by $217, you're sitting at home.
I mean, think about it, Braden. You made $116,000 this year in 365 days. In 10 of them, you can make 200, 100
in 10 days.
This is your profit.
I'm about to spend a lot less money on those 10 days than I had to spend the other trying to get the 116,000.
Yeah.
So
it's all about being there.
Yep.
For the chance at over 200,000 plus 10 days, National Finals Rodeo, NFR. You can hear a lot about it on the Let's Freakin Rodeo podcast, and I hope you just understand how big it is.
And you told me this, a rodeo guy, rodeo cowboy, he'll go all year to break even. The NFR is where you go green. You make your profit. You make your money. You make your real money. You make it to where you can buy the nice house, buy the nice new trailer, nice new bloomer, the nice new stuff. And then that's where you get your sponsors, which is then more money piled on. It's like the NFR is everything a rodeo cowboy needs to make his career what he wants it to be.
Yeah. And we'll have Justin Moss on here in the future. But my rookie year, I finished 19th in the world, and I went to his house and I had just enough to pay for my meals and started working for him October 1st. I worked for him until June when I left for the summer, and just keeping my money together just enough to be able to crack off that next June. I had nothing in my bank account, and I was 19th in the world, which I didn't have sponsors at this point. I'm a rookie, but and you obviously, when you get older, you get smarter about your money and you invest in different things when you hit big checks. But that's just, we are winning to go to the next one and to go to the next one and to hopefully hit a big lick and to invest it into, try to stay ahead. But
yeah, I think the average person looking at rodeo would go, hey, what do you mean this guy won 120,000? What do you mean like he's looking for money? Well, we can let you do the math. I mean, a brand new truck every 2 years, brand new trailer every 2 years. Diesel, how many miles do we drive a year?
Over 50.
Over 50,000.
50 to 70.
Over 50,000 miles. New tires, new everything, all the time. We pay for saddles, maintenance on our horses. That includes shoeing, feed, taking them to the vet, just making sure they're healthy, calves, you name it, there is an expense for it in rodeo. And so, you might wonder, oh, like, do these guys really need sponsors, or do they? Yeah, if you want to make any money, that's you have to have that. And so, I think giving people an inside look on just how much money you spend just to stay on the road, it's wild.
For sure. And every dollar that we get from sponsors, personally, we're very thankful for, but also the sponsors that go and sponsor the rodeos and put that money forth to the from the local companies to the mega companies that sponsor the national finals and everything in between. Las Vegas casinos, obviously, giving us the opportunity to rope for the money that we are. I mean, inflation's tough. You feel me? Get out there and vote. But,
we need to do an election podcast.
Get out there and vote. Hopefully that's headed back the right direction a little bit. But insurance on these horses, insurance on the truck, the trailer, flights, whatever it is. And that's if nothing bad happens. I mean, you have a wreck, or if something happens to your horse or whatever, you're already down. You're in the hole. So. Anyways, we get hurt. We're not on a salary. That's what
we have.
We're not on a salary. I need surgery on my knee. I'm out for however long. I'm just trying to hope to stay alive. So,
which was crazy. Leighton Berry got hurt. His interview's coming. He said he was building fence.
Yes,
and
was coming back from a broken C12L1, I believe. Fact check me on that in the future podcast. But broke a vertebrae in his back, and as it was healing, was out there fixing fence, trying to make ends meet. I mean, this shit ain't easy. So,
but think about you, Braden. I mean, you have 2 sponsors right now, 3.
Well, gaining more.
Gaining more.
Yeah, I had 4 before. I had Chad Decker coming in hot. Chad Decker is a construction company, and I have coming in hot. That's Walter Johnson. SSD West, obviously Harris crew there, Wade Harris. And then I had Lip Chip, San Angelo owned company, Brad Bowen, and then trying to add more sponsors right now.
You told me that an average NFR trip, regardless of how much he wins, could still be valued roughly around $500,000, just as the trajectory of one's career.
Yeah, I mean, they say a gold buckle's worth $1 million. In trajectory of what it does to your brand with your sponsors and whatever. That's what they say. I hope to find out.
Funniest thing that happened to you this summer?
Oh boy,
straight butter.
I mean, some of the best stories would be, obviously y'all are coming out with the podcast, or y'all already did come out with the video or whatever of y'all running out of diesel. It's hard to beat that. I mean, you're going slip and sliding at Pendleton. That's pretty funny. I mean, there's a lot of options. I mean, it's funny. It's funny. Sometimes you're just so frustrated that, I'm not doing good. It's just kind of funny sometimes. I mean, you're just like, golly.
Sometimes you can even ask Braden, which I don't think he really does this too much. Maybe he will in the future now that he's got a little less pressure. But sometimes it'll be going so bad for me, I'll just start laughing. Like,
yeah, no, it is.
I'll just be out there at the trailer and I'll be this and should have done this and didn't flank the front end. God, what an idiot. And then I'll just literally start cracking up laughing at myself. Like,
dude, that would be furious.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about not staying mad for too long, because you can't let it affect you too much. You obviously know what you got to do better and go on and move on to the next one. But
you can go into a favorite story you got. It can either be of the year or of 100 Days of Summer Rodeo, but favorite story you got.
Easily my favorite one was Tyler Wagespeck this year. He tore his pec or bicep?
Bicep.
He tore his bicep, and he was supposed to be out, through way deeper into the summer than when he started. And what date did he come back?
I remember the first time we saw him was at Castle Rock. It was that week of Dodge.
Yeah.
First week of August.
So for context, he didn't get to July rodeo. Obviously, to give you an idea, Ty won, almost 50,000 in just over 2 weeks in July. And he starts in August. It ends September 30th, comes all the way back and makes NFR anyway. And he was supposed to be out longer, right? He was supposed to be, what, a month longer?
Yeah, so they said when they come in there in the surgery, they're like, this worked out exactly perfect. We're going to be able to get you back a little sooner than what we thought. Tell them what he said at Castle Rock, Colorado. I'll freaking laugh so hard.
Oh, he was he was riding around over there. He had just went 3-8, gonna win top 3 in the rodeo for whatever. And he goes behind this other bulldog and he kind of hits him in the back. He goes, "Watch your rear view."
What's that rear view mirror, buddy?
Watch that rear view.
He's coming.
So I'm coming in the standings, buddy.
And he did.
Which it looked like he wasn't going to get it done.
Yeah, it looked like it was. And then he just came and blasted right through at the end.
No Puyallup. No good at Pendleton. It came down to win at Mandan or you have no chance. First, you have to win first at Mandan to have a chance.
And he did.
I'm watching it on the iPad and freaking misses the barrier like this. And then when he catches him, whoop, pow, 3-4. His emotion, man, it looked like he just want to go buckle because you know how that had to feel to get that done, knowing you got to win first to have a chance to make the NFR.
Man.
Still had a little more winning to do the last 10 days of the season. But, man, wow.
Bad dude.
I need to get that video.
I'm gonna say GOAT.
Great.
It's for sure in the conversation. 5 gold buckles, 30-something years old, 33. I don't want to fact check me on that. It's gonna be close to 33, but he ain't done. And
no,
absolute freaking winner, dude. Like, doesn't matter how it's gonna get done. Don't matter if you're playing cards, whatever you're doing, he's gonna win. A lot of respect for that guy. Wags is the man. Pretty cool story.
Yeah, we don't have many guys in rodeo that are, dominating at his level. He's special.
That was Braden. Do you have another cool story that was your favorite throughout this season?
Your average fan, 90% of your fans, they just expect me to be there in December. And if they're not somebody that checks the standings a lot, if I wasn't there, they might think, I wonder why he didn't make it. Or they might not even notice that I'm not there. But then the next year, they would just expect that I'm just an NFR roper. Like, not that many people probably even remember that Marty Yates didn't make the NFR last year. But I promise you, he freaking remembers. You know what I'm saying? That you don't, like he said, what did he say earlier? He said, whether you're 50th in the world, you still have a chance to be in the top 10 or top 15 next year. It don't matter what happened last year, or it don't matter if you won the world. It starts over October 1st. No one can nod their head for you. It's up to you every single day, the work you put in and the execution that you bring to the table, from you to your horses to your team to your crew to your rigs. There ain't nobody that can do this shit for you. You got to nod your head every single time and get it done. Nobody hands this out. To make 14 straight NFRs like what Shane Hanchy's done. Marty Yates 10-time NFR qualifier, but last year he did not make it. I'm not going to get into the specifics of what could have been that he didn't do it, but he did not make it. And he came back this year with a vengeance, top 6 in the world, whatever he is. It's awesome to see. That's where I'm at, because that could happen. I keep that fear in my mind. I keep that fear in my head that I might not make the NFR. It don't matter
just because you made 6 doesn't mean the 7th's guaranteed.
No, it ain't easy. It don't get any easier.
Nope.
These young dudes coming up are only getting faster and better. You have to stay on top of your game, preparation, execution, your horses, everything. So, Braden, just because he made it this year, don't mean he's going to make it next year.
Nope. It's they don't give any freebies. They don't give anyone into the NFR. You have to make it. You have to earn the money.
And that's what is similarities to pro football. It's like there's 50 guys in the world are doing everything in their power to come dethrone you. If you're one of the 15 guys, there's only 15 spots.
Yep.
So in a way, they're like, I'm getting one of them 15. And they're doing everything in their power to go get them 15.
The only advantage you have from being a, 6-time NFR qualifier is knowing in the back of your mind that you've done it before and you can do it again.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That is an advantage.
For sure.
You can't fall back on the first time you're trying to make it. You know what I mean? You're trying to pave the way and become, but I definitely see those the veterans are just like in any sport, they're able to weather the storm a lot better because they know in the back of their mind, I've done this before. I know what it takes. I know what to do to get it done.
Confidence.
I strongly believe, though, too, like you said, a guy that's made it obviously has that confidence in his head. But the younger guys, you'll never hear me talk about a younger guy that is or a guy that hasn't ever made the NFR. Oh, that guy's cocky. He just thinks he's it or whatever. A guy that hasn't made it, how is he going to make it? He has to have the confidence to believe he can.
Almost unthinkable confidence.
He has to have the confidence to think he can make it, or he might as well go home, bro. What's
Yep.
he doing out here, man? If you don't think you can make it, if I don't think I can win the world, what am I doing? My goal and my plan and I have to believe I can do it, or it's not going to happen. So,
But talking about how each year it starts over, by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be right near the Fiesta. That's why I love the Fiesta for calf roping specifically, because it is the first. Is it the first big hitter? I think your circuit's probably right before.
yeah, there's some circuit finals, but it's a big hitter. Whoever wins the Fiesta will be winning the world. I mean, that's the way it rolls. And
it's beginning of the year, right before the NFR and a hometowner.
Oh, I love
for y'all
it,
two boys.
Yeah.
And I even remember that for you, Braden. The first year you came back, you're not in the top. What is the top 30? You have to do to qualify.
Well, he was a rookie, so
He's a rookie.
he had no chance. He had to go through the
you
prelim.
had to go through a prelim qualifier
Right.
with
High call.
high call back.
Makes short round. Doesn't get very good draw, whatever. Doesn't work out, but doesn't make it. But doesn't make it to the bigger open. That's where it all started for us. I mean, we're 4, 5, 6, 7 years old going to the Fiesta and watching. I mean, I still got the hat in the living room that Roy Cooper, Fred Whitfield, Blair Burke, Brent Lewis, Cody Old, Trevor Brazil signed. Rusty Seawalt, those guys that I was, and I would had just kind of get my courage up. Granny tell me, go ask him, and I go get their autograph. So it's just awesome. Anytime you get to open that arena.
And it makes me think too about, they call it the rodeo cowboy capital.
Calf roping.
Calf roping.
They say San Angelo's the calf roping capital of the world is what they call it.
And then you make it, you think about it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of towns, the best of the best roll through all across the country. But a town this small, twice in 1 year, multiple times a year. San Angelo, Texas, and it's small, and getting to go every year and seeing them guys roll through every single year. The access you guys had just by proximity, you're 4 years old getting to go sit first row and see the best of the best. And you know the standard off the rip, what it is to take you to the best of the best. You're seeing, the thing I want to know, a big thing for you, Braden, is you loved watching Cody Old tapes when you were growing up. I want to know what it was like watching Fred and Cody match it out there.
Man, amazing.
Special. Yeah, I mean, Cody to win that match as much as he did, it was just like just a level of consistency and ease. You just, that's one thing you still go and look at. That guy, he made the sport look a lot easier than it is. Just freaking unbelievable neck shot, strong as a bull, tied him up all the same. It was
scored
just
perfect, rode perfect, just every aspect of the game.
Yeah,
I mean. True.
Yeah, if you don't want to rope like Cody Ole, and you
don't know
paying
what you're
attention,
talking about then.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, those Cody Old tapes. I remember in the Old Bloomer when I still rodeoed, having that DVD, and we'd go in there and watch it.
Yeah, no, it's
I can
something
still
special.
You said you wanted a record.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. I mean, it's freaking. I can still. I mean, I haven't had that DVD in 10, 12 years, but 6.5 seconds. I mean, shit. With Paul Hemus, Bob Tallman right there. That's a call. That is a legendary call right there. Kudos to you guys.
You cannot beat that.
Literally, you told me I had never seen that video, and then you showed it to me probably 6 months ago. Goosebumps, bro. Goosebumps.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's fun coming into like this time of year because once you hit September rodeoing, it's so tight. Not, people aren't really just wanting to talk. Like they're like it's tight. I mean, you're just like the NFR is hanging over your head. For a lot of guys, and so or people are just mad that they didn't have the year they wanted. Like totally understandable, but it's fun to refresh and see everyone again and not be it's not so like we can talk again, you know what I mean? It's fun.
Oh, yeah, it's just hard. I mean, it's hard to go through that. I mean, whether you made it or you didn't, and the guys that are already in are tired and want to go back and see their families and, just want to refresh, reset. I mean, it's just...
Exactly.
I was pretty irritable towards the end of the year. It's just ready to be home.
Yeah, I mean, once you hit September, we've been out there, 80 days, whatever, I mean, you're worn out. I mean, you're like, if you're trying to make if you're still in contention on trying to make the finals or you're right there on the bubble or whatever, that maintains you a little better because you have that hanging over you. But, if you're out and if you're way in, you can get pretty irritable. I think. I think it's pretty hard.
Speaking of the Fiesta too, right here. So like we said, a guy missed the NFR by $200 and something, right? 217, I think, is what it was. Right here at the Fiesta, somebody's going to win 12,000, which means the lower placing guys are going to win 500, 900, whatever. Like every dollar freaking matters.
Yep.
I've said that before, but it's so true.
Yep.
At the end, whether it's for a gold buckle or for an NFR qualification, every dollar matters. We're headed to the circuit finals this week. We got to be ready. We got to go execute because you don't know what it's going to mean next September 30th.
Yep.
There has been, and I don't even know if you want to say it, but a guy who missed NFR and didn't use all his rodeos.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Almost every year.
There's a guy in a different event every year that either had an entering blunder, didn't get to compete at all the rodeos because he entered wrong or had this happen or had a truck break down or whatever. So when we talk about entering rodeos, you declare, so like right now I'm going to enter for Lubbock, Texas. It's 3 weeks away right now. And right now when I put my name down, that goes towards one of my 80. So we get to go to 80 rodeos throughout the year to qualify for the top 15. It's not just a free for all, go to as many as you want, just go until you win enough. If you get 80 rodeos, I declare it right now for 3 weeks in advance. And, if something happens, if I get the flu, I get a doctor release, but you only get 2 of those throughout the year. So, long story short, there's going to be entering blunders that guys have where their truck breaks down or this happened or that happened or the flag got canceled or whatever. And they might miss the NFR by $200. And it's a terrible, terrible story, but that's just part of the sport. I mean.
Yeah. And the craziest part is like right around the end, you start feeling like, oh, every dollar counts. But I mean, it's the same. They pay you the same money in October if you let it, right? Or January. It's that money counts towards your NFR bid
just as much as it does in September.
Exactly. Just because you feel it feels tight, it didn't make it any different then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That's a good point.
it's just like watching watching any other sport. Early in a basketball game, a team doesn't come out focused. They drop 10 points. Late in the game, every 4 points feels like so much. 2 points, it feels like so much. But if you would have been focused from the start, those 10 points, they counted the same then as they do at the end, So
That's why you're right. I mean, y'all are both right. That's why it comes so much down to mental sharpness.
Give me 1 second. I have something that goes on with that. A Walt Woodard quote that's on this Facebook page. He was asked about the bubble.
And while you're looking for that, when we were talking about Cody Ole and them, I want to know, like, be thinking about your favorite rodeo moment. You can give 2 if you want, but just no need to stretch it out. But like that moment that you remember, yours is probably a Cody moment. I don't know what it is for you, but when you're young and you're like my favorite basketball is Cleveland LeBron when he was going berserk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. No, I have one. Whenever.
So, we need some free reign coffee.
Yeah.
I feel good. I had me a cup and a half earlier. I'm juiced up still.
That's the only way we're gonna be able to get these interviews. Like they'll basically give you just 2-3 hour interviews. Joe Rogan. We're gonna need to hit that free reign about hour in, if that second win, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you get tired. You're tired, little boy.
I feel sharp today.
Good.
I've been holding it together.
So Braden, you just talked about, you hit on, every dollar matters, whether it's October or September, even though it feels tighter in September. So Walt Woodard was asked about it, and I'm just going to read what he said. They said, all the talks about the regular season backstretch, but you have other ideas on that, don't you? He said, yes, I do. A lot of people put so much importance on the end, but what about Reno and Greeley? And that time you overslept and weren't really prepared to run that one steer back in June. Maybe you didn't have a great winter or had a subpar spring. Be honest, did you really try hard enough all year long? When you don't make it, it comes down to the failures throughout the year. What you should be thinking is, how did I put myself in this position? I should not be here. Making it is about giving it all you have all the time. No one comes through every time, but you have to try your best.
It's pretty good.
I strongly agree with that. First off, because I think it takes a little bit of the pressure away towards September, because I should have done better, early in the year, but also it gives you motivation early in the year to think about right now. I know people that have, like you said, overslept, either missed their runs or barely made it or whatever. It happens to the best of you, but you miss a flight or you do whatever. Every freaking dollar matters.
I heard Tough say it. This was probably last year when he was on having the worst year of his career. I think it's the worst I've seen. He said, "I'm trying to learn how to have the big rodeos, the Americans, the Houstons, the NFRs. I'm trying to approach them and see them the same as the $2,000 rodeos, the ones that don't pay a lot, the ones that could make the difference in $200 getting in." You know, he had to go to Maine last year just to qualify for his, you know, seems like 1,000th NFR because he's there every single year. He's one of the greatest to do it. But I mean, him being a legend, he's like, I'm trying to see the big ones and the little ones the same, and give them and prepare the same, approach it the same.
It's the crazy part about our sport. I mean, we run X amount of calves for 20,000 to 100,000, but most of the calves we run are for 3 to 5. You know, we don't run that many calves for that much money, but 4 of those $5,000 checks is 20,000. You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. And if you're not roping in your best at those small ones, you're damn sure not going to win a gold buckle. You know, you might make the NFR, but you have to be great all year to rope for a gold buckle.
Yep.
I say that every time on the freaking blackjack table, though, but I still throw out $100. Of course, $25 for 4 hands is the same as a $100 hand, but why do I always throw the $100 hand out there, Ty?
You might hit one time somewhere in the rodeo, but you're not going to run the course. You ain't going to make the NFR.
Okay, we're going to be in Vegas in 60 days. Run the course, baby. Run the pace, jog. Don't get on this marathon too hot. Oh, it's a marathon.
Don't wear yourself out before the Murph running around in circles.
What is your gambling approach at Vegas? Knowing you're a competitor, knowing it's Vegas, you have a good time, you enjoy it. Are you winning on the tables and in the rodeo? What's the
Some people do, some don't. I don't know.
What's the craziest Vegas? I want to know, what is your approach, but then also I want to know the craziest gambling Vegas story you've ever heard.
I mean, I hope Dustin doesn't mind me telling this story, but I'm going to tell it because this was the craziest thing I've ever heard. We're sitting there in the little lounge before the 7th round last year. Everybody knows, you know, Dustin plays blackjack. He's good at it. He knows all the rules. You know, he's very good gambler. But we're sitting there and Jiggers walks by. He goes, "Dustin, how's them tables been?" He said, "Man, pretty good." He goes, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, better than the rodeo." And he's like, "Whatever," you know, because Dustin's great. I think at that point he'd won 40,000 in the rodeo. He'd won good checks. He hasn't had just an extremely good NFR, but he's been winning checks, whatever. He said, "No, for real, it's been better than the rodeo because I'm up 55." And I just was listening. I hadn't said a word, and I pop up 5,500, 55,000 was what he had won, which he's big time. You know, that's unbelievable. Winning more on the tables in Vegas than you had at the rodeo, and he ended up, I think, winning one of the rounds or placing good in a couple of the later rounds. But anyways, that was an unreal gambling
it's funny because you see, I see stories of Dana White and Taylor Lewan, I think it is, and these dudes were busting with the boys, gambling these high stakes. They were going to make it, throw it out there, and people make a lot of money at the NFR. I didn't, you know, some people may gamble a lot too. I was curious.
Yeah, they said. So now they pay you after, but they said back in the day they would, like, you if you win the round, it'd be in your account soon,
or next
like
day
of or next day or whatever. And they said there was some pretty crazy stories about guys losing their whole round win. Went back when the round paid $13,000, which was only 10 years ago. The round at the NFR only paid $13,000, and there's stories about guys losing, you know, their whole check before they run their next one. But
so that
don't count. I ain't doing that. I plan. I've never had success in Vegas, really. I've never really done very good there, or as good as I've wanted to.
Which I don't know if you care if I share this, but you said the one approach, because I want to get into, you know, what are some strategies you got for listeners who, you know, let's put a disclaimer. If this is not real advice. This is just for fun. Don't ever do what we're about to say. You know, I don't want to get freaking.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Don't try this at home, right? But I heard you say, man, every time I go up to my room, and every morning I go buy a roulette table. I throw some money on it, and then I leave.
I said I will put $100 on black every morning, whether I win or lose. This is previous years. I'd put $100 on black every morning, and whether I win or lose, I'd leave. And one year I just kept winning. I think I won like 600. Which, if you think about it, if you do that 14 times, you'd have to win. So you'd have to win 10. you have to win 10 out of 14 to be up 600. Actually, because you won 10, lost 4. That means I was winning at a pretty high rate. So that's 5 out of 7. I don't even know what that is. It's 80-something%. But
the roulette table gets me bad because I'll see black, and I'm like, well, surely it's a red, but really. That's kind of like this deal what you said about it. October 1st pays you the same as September 30th. I mean, it's 50-50 every time.
Well, 48 because I got them greens, but yeah.
Every time. It doesn't matter how many freaking blacks or how many reds.
Those casinos, those mega casinos weren't built on winners.
Yeah.
You going in there and kicking their asses and how they built them casinos and keeping those lights running. So,
which makes you think. Anyways, fellas.
I love it. I love gambling. I love it. I don't let myself lose too much, but I definitely like it. To answer your question about Vegas, no, I'm not going to be gambling. Hopefully I just absolutely kill them in the rodeo, and then I might stay in Vegas for a week after and have some fun for some vacation and time, but I plan on going and kicking ass for a couple weeks.
Boys, last fun thing, Braden, you can go first. Your MJ rodeo moment, your favorite rodeo moment you can think of that was like, man, if I think of like the most fun I had watching rodeo, I think of this moment.
Watching,
not competing.
For me, it's I wouldn't say fun, but watching Cody Ogan injured in the 9th round of, I don't remember what year, the NFR, and finishing his run. That's just such a cool run. I mean, he tears his ACL, cuts his rope, and he's holding on, getting drugged. He keeps held on. Give you goosebumps every time if you watch the video. Climbs himself up to the calf, flanks him, and ties him before the clock, hits 25.
He was right at it. I don't know if it even went maybe a second. Did he get it done before?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
it
not.
might have been a second or after. I don't know. But
either way, he got it done.
That'll give you chills, bro. I mean, he hits and you can tell he's messed up. And that was crazy.
After he ties it, he falls back.
Oh, yeah. That was unreal.
God, we got to talk about him. Get him on the pod and get him to talk about that.
Oh, for sure. Coolest one for me, probably the first one that comes to mind that I wasn't a part of, was 6'4", 6'1" this year at the finals. Like, I know that calf of Shad's got up, but that Thomas Mack went unreal. That was insane. And back-to-back runs. I mean, what Shad did right there was pretty crazy. Obviously, Haven 6'4", that's record's been there. What Cody was 6'5" in 03. So 20 years later, Haven goes 6'4", and the next run, Shad goes 6'1", and I know the calf got up, but wow, unbelievable. Wow, we were there. This is legit 240, 250 pound calves. I mean, this ain't no bullshit. I mean, they went 6'4", 6'1", straight up with all the pressure. Thomas and Mack, Haven Medget's trying to chase down Riley Webb for a gold buckle. It was just unreal.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never seen a 6'1", and I don't think people would realize it because, we think of like the NFR as, the best opportunity to go fast, but there's actually other jackpots and rodeos that are more conducive to going 6'1".
Yeah, for sure.
Than the finals on those size calves. So yeah, hats off to it. That was special. Obviously, I got to be back there and watch that. So
feel it, man.
Yeah,
feel the freaking electricity, the ground shaking. There wasn't a person sitting down in their seats when that happened. I mean, it
was wild. Those are the type of things when that happens. Whenever that all the calf ropers are just like, they're like, what the heck? That was insane. Everyone's, it was.
Yeah, that's just a cool moment.
Yeah,
everyone's excited.
Everyone loves it. You know what I mean?
Everybody.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. It's like, this is good for our sport. You know what I mean? To see it progress.
Yeah, because all we hear, is, calf ropers suck now and everything else. Calf roping went downhill. They used to rope so much better back in the day, whatever. I mean, I'll just speak for the Shad and Haven don't suck. So that's all I got to say. Go get you some. Go rope against one of them guys.
Insane. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Braden. It was pretty cool. Congrats on making your first NFR. Make sure y'all buy tickets. Get there. Go to Cowboy Christmas. Go get you some seats in the Thomas and Mack. They'll probably be signing autographs at some point somewhere. Go get you an autograph. We're going to be recording podcasts in Vegas. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Make sure you come out, say what's up to the guys, and let's freaking rodeo. We'll see you in the next podcast.
This won't be the last time Braden gets on. I can't wait. Let's freaking rodeo.
LFR.